So hello, my name is Jeanette. I am a yoga teacher here with Hopewell, and I am happy to be here to lead you through about a 50-minute gentle flow yoga class. So make sure that you make this class your own. If you need to take a break during class, and if your break means that you sit on a chair, sit on the floor, take a child's pose, then I want you to make sure that you do that. I want you to be comfortable and at ease. So we're going to do a little bit of what I call centering and arriving, and that is basically kind of acknowledging your presence on the mat and kind of being a little bit dedicated to being present here. That's what yoga calls for us to do, is to be present. And we're going to do a little bit of breath work. In yoga, that is called pranayama. And it is not so much control of the breath, but rather an expansion of its possibilities. So we'll do a little bit of that. And then we're going to do some moving with our breath. And the breath is important because without the breath, it's just stretching, it's not yoga. So you can use a chair if you need to use a chair. You can use the chair to sit in for some of the postures. You can use the chair for balance work by holding on to the back of it or holding on to the seat. So make sure that you use whatever props is needed. And speaking of props, if you have something to sit on, that would be wonderful. It can be a blanket, it doesn't have to be a yoga blanket. It can be a pillow, it can be a rolled up beach towel, it can be whatever you have handy that works for you. Sitting on the edge of something is good because it keeps your pelvis in alignment and stops your knees from kind of jerking up like bat wings above your hips. So, should you feel any strain or pulling during our class today, make sure that you back off, okay? Because in yoga, the sensation should be felt in the belly of the muscle and not in the joint itself, okay? So if you feel something that's just not sitting right, make sure you back off. You can do something else. You can take a seat, whatever works for you. So this is all part of a yoga philosophy that's called sthira, effort, and sukha, which means ease. And when we find this middle ground between sthira and sukha, we can be persistent, but we can be adaptable to our own practice. Okay, so the first thing we are going to do as part of our centering and arriving is going to rub your hands really briskly. Just rub them together until you feel some heat being generated. After you feel some heat being generated, we're going to lay them either on your eyes or just away from your eyes, just enough so you can feel the warmth. And let your gaze be soft so that you can see the lines on your hands. And if your hands start to cool off, just give them another rub and place them over or near your eyes. And take a couple breaths. And then begin to draw your hands away from your face, keeping your gaze soft and keeping your eyes focused on the lines in your hand. Those familiar lines that we see every day that we tend not to pay any attention to. And when your hands come to your lap, just let them rest there. And let your gaze continue to be downcast, or your eyes can be closed, whichever is more comfortable for you. And let's just take a couple of moments to drop into our breath. And let go of any lingering conversations from your day, or any expectations that you have for the remainder of your day. And simply be here for your practice, in your body, in your bones, in your breath, and on your mat. And notice your shoulders. And take a deep inhale. Really draw your shoulders up towards your ears, and then exhale and let them come down. Let's do that again. Inhaling, bringing your shoulders up to your ears, and exhaling and letting them come down. And keep your shoulders relaxed throughout your practice. And take a few deep inhales and exhale through your mouth with a sigh. Let's do that 2 more times. Inhaling deeply, exhaling through your mouth with a sigh. And on each exhale, feel your shoulders just relax away from your ears. And let your breath flow gently. And notice any catching, any hesitation in your breath without any need to change it or to judge it. Simply notice it. And notice on your inhale the expansion of your collarbones. And on your exhale, the drawing together of your collarbones. On your inhale, notice your shoulder blades coming together on your back. And on your exhale, notice them coming away from each other. And feel your body heavy on the earth. Really drop into your mat or your cushion or your blanket with your hips. And at the same time, think of rising up out of your hips through the crown of your head. This is known as rooting to rise, rooting into the hips, rooting into what is in contact with the mat, and at the same time, rising up out of your seat. And let's just do a quick check-in with where we are today and how we're feeling. So become aware of your body and any subtle sensations or other sensations that you're feeling. Any areas that might need some kindness or release. Any areas that might need perhaps a little bit of an extra stretch or an extra opening. And just be kind to all of those parts of your body that may need something special today. And check in with your energy. Is it active? Is it more relaxed? Maybe it's somewhere in the middle. And know that your energy level can be fueled by how you're feeling. If you're anticipating something or you're apprehensive about something, that can often affect our energy. And just for now, try to breathe that away and simply be present. And notice your thoughts. See them without engaging with them, without looking for their story. And just let them flow past, acknowledging them without anticipating. And know that those thoughts will be there later. You can deal with them, you can address them, you can see them then. And notice your emotions and your feelings, and just accept them with kindness and respect, and sit with them as you would a friend. And notice if your emotions are perhaps linked to some physical sensation. Maybe it's tightness in your hips, maybe it's tightness in your shoulders. And see if perhaps those two are linked in some way. And consider setting an intention for your practice today. It's just a suggestion, certainly not anything that's required. And if you do choose to do that, make it something simple and something nourishing. It could be presence, it could be peace, it could be just some relaxation for the next 50 minutes or so. Let it be whatever appeals to you. And if nothing comes to mind, then don't worry about it. Just let that go and simply be here on your mat. So we're going to do a little breath work now. And you can either keep your eyes closed, or you can keep them downcast, or you can open them, whatever sits well with you. We're going to do two things. We're going to do something called Dirga breath, which is 3-part breathing in yoga, and it's breathing into belly, ribs, and collarbone, and then emptying your vessel from collarbones, ribs to belly. And the second thing we're going to do is something called samavriti, which means equal wave breathing. And that's going to be a counted breath, and we will do that together, and I will count with you, and then we'll release that, and then we'll do a bit of a warm-up, and then we'll start moving. So again, find a comfortable seat. If you need to stretch your legs out and give your knees a bit of a rub if you've been sitting in the same position, then go ahead and do that. Again, you can sit in a chair for this also. So sit up nice and tall wherever your seat is. And we're going to let the belly be soft. We're not going to hold it in any way. So we're going to inhale deeply. We're going to let our belly balloon. And we're going to continue that inhale, let it expand up into our rib cage, and feel your rib cage expand in all directions. Then continue your breath up into your collarbones, and feel your collarbones lift, feel your heart open. And then we're going to exhale. We're going to empty this vessel from top to bottom, exhaling through collarbones, through ribs. Get down to your belly. Really draw your belly in towards the spine to empty yourself of breath. So that sounds like it's a lot of steps, but it really isn't. It's simply breathing belly, ribs, collarbones. If that's all that you remember and all you do, that's a wonderful thing. So we're going to do that 4 times. Okay, so let's begin. We're going to inhale belly, ribs, and collarbones. And exhale, collarbones, ribs, and belly. Inhale, belly, ribs, collarbones. Exhale, collarbones, ribs, and belly, trying to empty ourselves. And 2 more times, inhaling, belly, ribs, and collarbones. Exhale, top to bottom, collarbones, ribs, and belly. And draw the belly in toward the spine to empty yourself of breath. And let's release that. And just take 2 nice full of your own breath. Just, and 1 more time. And so now let's try this equal wave breathing. Equal wave breathing, or Samavriti, is a really wonderful way to kind of quiet your mind and help you focus, because it's really difficult to have your mind going every which way if you're counting your breaths. It's very centering. It can be very calming. So what we're going to do is we're going to inhale for 6, and we're going to exhale for 6. And we're going to do that 4 times. And then for 2 more times, we're going to add a retention at the top and a retention at the bottom of the breath. Now that retention is not like holding your breath until you turn blue. It's simply an acknowledgement and a recognition of that natural pause at the top and that natural pause at the bottom. So we will retain for a count of 3 at the top and at the bottom. And I'll count you through this. And if at any point this becomes, frustrating, it makes you anxious, it's just annoying, just let it go and just take some nice deep breaths of your very own. Okay, so let's get started. So we're going to inhale, Om 1, Om 2, Om 3, Om 4, Om 5, Om 6. Exhale, Om 6, Om 5, Om 4, Om 3, Om 2, Om 1. Inhale, Om 1, Om 2, Om 3, Om 4, Om 5, Om 6. Exhale, Om 6, Om 5, Om 4, Om 3, Om 2, Om 1. Last time, inhale, Om 1, Om 2, Om 3, Om 4, Om 5, Om 6. Exhale, Om 6, Om 5, Om 4, Om 3, Om 2, Om 1. Nicely done. Okay, take a deep breath and let it go. Take another deep breath and let it go. Now we're going to do this 2 more times, and we're going to add that little retention. And if the retention just makes you anxious, you don't like it, then simply inhale and exhale with the counts and forget the retention. So we're going to start. Inhale, Om 1, Om 2, Om 3, Om 4, Om 5, Om 6. Retain, Om 3, Om 2, Om 1. Exhale, Om 6, Om 5, Om 4, Om 3, Om 2, Om 1. Retain, Om 1, Om 2, Om 3. Last time. Inhale, Om 1, Om 2, Om 3, Om 4, Om 5, Om 6. Retain, Om 1, Om 2, Om 3. Exhale, Om 6, Om 5, Om 4, Om 3, Om 2, Om 1. Retain, Om 3, Om 2, Om 1. Nicely done. Okay, so let's release all of that counting of breath, and hopefully that has helped you feel a little more centered and helped to kind of fill you with all the potential of your breath. So if your eyes are closed or downcast, let's go ahead and blink them open. We're going to just do a little warm-up here. So just to kind of make sure we have our connection with the earth.
take one hand, it doesn't matter which one, and just put the fingertips on the floor. Kind of like you got a half grapefruit onto your hand. So it's very light, fingertips to the floor. Take the other hand and bring it to your heart center. And take a couple of breaths into the warmth of your own hand. And feel your connection to the earth. And feel the energy that we can draw from the earth into our own bodies. And breathe. And then let's release that. And we're going to take the creases of, not the creases, what are these called? The palms of our hands. And we're going to take them to the creases of our hips. And we're just going to press down. Now, if you find, like mine just did, when you press down, your shoulders come up to your ears, and just bat-wing your elbows out a little bit to relax your shoulders. We're going to inhale and release a little bit. Exhale and press down, finding that grounding. Inhaling to release. And exhale, grounding down. Nice. Let's just do some gentle arm sweeps. So arms are going to sweep up with an inhale. And exhale, hands to heart center. Let's do that 2 more times. Inhaling the hands up. Arms meet at the top. Exhale, hands to heart center. And 1 more time, inhaling arms up. And hands to heart center. Now we're just going to do a little bit of neck release. So we're going to just take our chin and we're going to bow our chin towards our chest. And we're going to inhale and bring it up. Very simple. Exhale, bring it to your chest. Inhale up. 1 more time. Inhale. Take it to your chest and then leave your chin there. Take your hands, clasp them around the back of your head, kind of where that little hump is right there. Just clasp your hands gently there and let your elbows frame your face. So you're adding just a tiny little bit of weight to the back of the head to stretch the cervical spine. And don't pull down. We're not trying to really jam our head down. We're just providing a little bit of extra weight and a little bit of extra opening. Then we're going to inhale. We're going to open our elbows like wings. And we're going to exhale. We're going to close our wings, bring our chin to our chest. Do that a couple more times. Inhaling to open. Exhaling to close. And 1 more time. Inhaling, open. And exhale to close. Then bring your hands to your lap. And let's just take our left ear and bring it to the shoulder. Opening the side of the neck now. Then turn and admire your knee. And then bring your ear again to your shoulder. Inhale, bring the head to center. Exhale, bring the ear to the right shoulder. And make sure you're bringing your ear to your shoulder, not your shoulder to your ear. Turn and look at your knee. Bring the ear back to the shoulder. Head comes up. Excellent. So let's do a few side bends. So we're going to plant the left hand. And we're going to sweep the right arm over. And as you sweep the right arm over, press into that planted hand so that you feel your opposite hip root down. And let's inhale through center. Exhale over to the other side. Once again, pressing down through that hand, rooting down the opposite hip. Let's do that 1 more time each side, making it into a nice flow. And then over to the right, planting that hand. And then let's come to center and bring your hands straight up so that they frame your ears. And then we're going to take the left hand, we're going to bring it behind us. And then we're going to bring the right hand, so we're going to cross it over to our left thigh. We're going to inhale to lengthen, then we're going to exhale. Take a gentle twist. And breathe. And notice your breath here. Sometimes it's a little difficult to take a full breath and a twist, and that's okay. And we're going to inhale and sweep the arms up. And then the right hand comes behind, left comes to the knee. We're going to inhale to lengthen, and going to exhale and twist. And release. And let's bring our hands straight out from our shoulders, palms facing forward. And we're going to take our right hand under our left, our right arm. And we're going to sweep them around. You're going to give yourself a big hug. And see if you can tuck your fingers into your shoulder blades. Maybe give them a little bit of a a squeeze. We hold a lot of tension in the musculature in our backs. Then inhale deeply. On exhale, just drop your shoulders, your elbows away from you. Let them rest downwards. And let's inhale them up. Let's open them up, and let's do it again, but bring the left arm under. Give yourself a hug. Opening up the shoulders, and then dropping your elbows down. And take a few breaths. And release. Now let's shoot our arms straight up, palms facing forward. Now we're going to bend our left elbow, just like you're scratching yourself on the back. You're going to bend your elbow. Put your hand somewhere in between your shoulder blades, wherever's comfortable. You're going to take your right hand, you're just going to, on the elbow, and just going to give it a very gentle push down. You should feel a nice opening on this inside of your upper arm. And breathe. And inhale, arms come up. Let's do that to the other side. Bringing the right hand down, giving it a little press. And let's release that. Maybe give your arms a shake. And let's clasp our hands and push them away from you. And really kind of clasp your fingers and see if you can try to pull them apart. So we give a little stretch, not only to our wrists, but also to our finger joints. And then we're going to inhale the palms up so that they face straight up. Maybe we're going to do a little cat back, a little tiny arch. And then we're going to exhale. We're going to round our back like a hissy cat, bringing the hands forward. And inhale, the arms up. A little cow back. I'm not sure why they call it a cow back. I've never seen a cow do this. And then exhaling the arms forward, rounding the back. Let's do that one more time. Hands coming up. Gentle arch of the back. And exhale, come forward with a cat back. And let's release that. And take your fingertips on those little half grapefruits and just bring them in front of you, 6 inches or so. And press the ground down and away from you so it roots your hips back. And then let's bring our hands behind us, kind of do the opposite. We're going to press the ground down and away and let the heart shine up. And let your gaze be no higher than where wall and ceiling meet. So we don't want to be flopping our head backwards. Excellent. Well, let's come forward. I don't know about you, but my knees are barking. So we're going to extend this right leg out. I'm going to get off of my blanket. And maybe even give your knee a bit of a rub if you've been sitting with your legs cross-legged. So the right leg is out at a diagonal. Your left foot is tucked into the top of your thigh, your inner thigh. This outstretched foot is nice and active. Toes are pointing back towards you. We're going to take the palms of our hands and we're going to rest them out in front of us. And pressing again a little bit down and away. Then we are going to turn. We're going to frame the bent leg, giving ourselves a little twist here. And then we're going to walk our fingers over and we're going to frame the extended leg. And keeping a nice extension out of your hips, all the way through your neck. Your gaze should be at your feet or your foot. And maybe we walk our fingers a little bit forward, keeping length in the spine, trying not to round in. I know it's tempting. Maybe our hands rest on our ankle. Maybe our hands grab our foot. Wherever is comfortable for you. Resist the urge to collapse in. And then let's plant our hands. Let's walk them back. And then let's do that to the opposite leg. So let's stretch out the left leg, tuck the right foot into the inner thigh. And once again, let's place the hands right in front of us, pushing the ground down and away. Then let's turn and frame the bent leg. And then let's walk our fingertips over and let's frame the extended leg, keeping nice active feet. And maybe we walk our feet a little bit forward. I meant our hands, not our feet, obviously. Do what I do and not what I say, right? And then maybe we place our hands on our shin, or you can reach for your foot, whichever works for you, whichever allows you to keep that nice long spine, that rooting to rise. And then let's walk our fingertips back and we are going to come onto our bellies. So we're going to be doing a whole bunch of stuff, as much as we have time for, from our bellies to our backs, to our knees, to our hands and knees, to standing up. We're going to do it all. So reach your legs back, tops of the feet on the floor. Going to take your forearms and you're going to stack one on top of the other. It doesn't matter which one. And you are going to lay your forehead on your arms. Now this is not just an excuse to lay down. So we want to really press into the tops of our feet, press into our pelvis. We want to feel what's in contact with the earth. So we've got our forehead on the ground. This is actually called crocodile pose. So what we're going to do here is we're going to lift our right leg and we're going to extend it back, and then we're going to put it down. And then we're going to lift the other leg, and we're going to extend it back, and we're going to put it down. So now you've got this nice length coming out of your hips. So from here, we're going to hinge open our elbows. So our palms are on the floor, and our forearms are on the floor. Then you're going to drag them back so that your elbows are under your shoulders. This is called Sphinx pose. So keeping some firmness in your legs, keeping your tops of your toes, tops of your feet on the floor, pressing into the pelvis. Inhaling, this is a very gentle back bend. Now if you want to take a little bit further, we can kind of grasp the mat and drag it back towards us, and notice what that does. That opens up your thoracic area and brings your heart through the gateway of your arms. And breathe. Now you can stay here, or we can take it to a slightly deeper back bend, and to do that, we're going to open our arms so they're more towards the corners of your mat. Once again, keeping a nice firm grip. And from here, we're going to press up, and this is seal pose. Slightly deeper back bend. You probably feel this a little bit in your lumbar area of your back, your lower back. And breathe. Now we're going to come back down the way we came in. So we're going to come back down to our forearms into Sphinx pose, making sure elbows are under shoulders. I know you haven't lost all that great extension and firmness in your legs. And then we're going to cross our forearms, and if you remember to cross the other one on top, that's great. If you don't, doesn't matter. Lay your forehead on your arms, bend your knees, and just windshield wiper them back and forth a little bit. Helps to relieve a little bit of stress in your lower back. Okay, so let's press up the hands and knees, and now we are going to come over on our back. And just do it in as graceful a way as you can. There's no good way to do it. Okay, so we're going to come onto our back, and we are going to have our knees bent and our feet on the floor. And what I want you to notice here is the natural curve of your spine. I don't want you to exaggerate it or anything right now. You can see if you can take your hand and slide it under. You should maybe even be able to take one of those little toy cars and drive it under there. So let's just be aware of that natural curve in our spine. So what we're going to do is we're going to arch and we're going to flatten our back, and we're going to do it with our breath. And when you do this, I want you to notice your pelvis and how it tilts away from you and then tilts forward. It's all a wonderful thing. The body mechanics is just wonderful. Your hands can be on the floor with the palms down. So we are going to inhale, and we're going to arch our back. And when you arch your back, feel how your pelvis kind of rocks towards your feet. And we're going to exhale, and we're going to flatten our back. And notice that your pelvis rocks towards your belly button. Let's do that a couple more times. We're going to inhale, we're going to arch our back, and exhale, we're going to flatten. Let's do that one more time. Inhaling and arching, and exhale and flatten. Nicely done. Let's just hug our knees into our chest, give them a bit of a squeeze. Maybe rotate your ankles a little bit one way, rotate them the other. Then we're going to just stick our feet up in the air. And let your feet be active. And think that somebody has just put a 5-pound sack of flour on your feet, and really let your hips drop into the ground. And feel that groundedness of your hips on the ground. Maybe pressing into the palms of your hands a little bit. And breathe. And let's bend our legs. Put our feet on the floor. We're just going to do a little bridge flow here. So take your feet and kind of back them up towards your butt until you can tickle your heels with your fingertips. And when you can do that, then step your feet away from your hands a couple of inches because we don't want to kind of jam our knees closed. So palms are on the floor, forearms are on the floor. We're going to press into our feet and we're going to lift our hips on an inhale. On an exhale, we're going to lower them. Let's do that a couple more times. We're going to inhale up and exhale, release. Do that one more time. Inhale and up. And exhale and release. Let's add our arms to this. So now we're going to inhale, and as we bring our hips up, our arms are going to come up, come behind us. Tops of the hands lay on the floor. Exhale, bring everything down. And do that 2 more times. Inhaling and up. And exhaling and down. And 1 more time. Let's inhale and up. And exhale and down. Nicely done. Okay, we're going to now come up to a seat, and you can do that by either kind of rocking and rolling on your spine and rolling up to a seat, or you can just sit up. I'm going to go for the latter, which just has me sitting up. So let's stretch our legs out in front of us and look at our feet. This is known as Dandasana, or a staff pose. So you should be in an L shape. Feet are active. If your knees are hurting, then press forward on the balls of your feet. It will release some pressure on your knees. So let's root to rise. Let's press down into our hips, into our sits bones, and rise up out of there through the crown of the head. Take your palms of your hands and stick them right down here next to your hips and press down. And notice how everything just firms up. And notice all your touch points, your heels, the backs of your calves, the backs of your thighs, your hands, your sits bones. And take a few deep inhales. Now we're going to stretch the arms up overhead, framing the ears. We're going to reach forward towards our feet, and we're going to drop the palms of the hands, the backs of the hands to the floor. We're going to drag them back towards us. We're going to do that a few more times. We're going to reach up, and we're going to reach out at the tops of the hands, drag back towards us. Do that one more time, reaching up and reaching out and letting the back of the hands come back towards us. Excellent. Let's take our left knee and just hug it into our chest and extend. And let's take the right knee, let's hug that one in. And then let's hug them both in. And you can either leave your feet on the floor or you can hug them into your chest so that your spine straightens and you're balancing on your sits bones. And breathe. Excellent. Now let's just take the soles of our feet together. This is known as Baddha Konasana, bound angle pose. And to try not to collapse in over your feet, all right? You don't need to look at your feet. You know that they're there. Just take the palms, the thumbs of your hands, and just give yourself a little rub. And maybe give your feet a little slap, bring some color back to them. Even though I told you not to look at your feet, I'm looking at mine. All right, bring your knees together, and we are going to come onto our hands and knees. Now, if you need to pad your knees with something, this is a great time to do it. So if you need a cushion or a pillow or a blanket or a towel, now is the time to get it. I've got all kinds of devices attached to my pants, so just give me a minute to readjust. Okay, so we're on hands and knees, elbows are over wrists, shoulders are over elbows, all of that good stuff, toes are tucked. So we're going to stretch the right leg back, and we're going to press back through that heel. Feel a nice stretch in the sole of the foot and in the calf And we're going to reach that foot up, hip height. And then we're going to draw it underneath us with a little cat back. And we're going to inhale it out and exhale it in. Do that one more time. Inhaling out, exhaling in, that little cat back. And then let's reach it out. The toes are pointing straight down. You can stay here. You can reach out through the opposite hand and really reach from fingertip to heel. And breathe. And let's release, and let's do that on the other side. So we're going to do that with our left leg. So let's reach the left leg out, keeping the toe on the floor, and press back through your heel, lengthening through your calf and your thigh. And then we're going to bring the leg up, and we're going to draw it underneath on an exhale. Inhale straight out, and exhale, and inhale and out, and exhale in. Let's do that one more time. Inhale and out, and exhale and in. Next time we bring it out, so you have the option to just stay here or reach the other arm, the opposite arm forward, reaching from fingertip to foot. And excellent. And let's just sit down for a second. Let's do some little bit of wrist release. Rotate your wrists one way, rotate it the other way. Give them a bit of a shake, bit of a flap. Yoga can be tough on your wrists, so make sure you take a break as you need it. All right, so now we are going to come up into a downward facing dog, and we're going to do that in a structured way. So we're on our hands and knees with all that good alignment, and we are going to hover our shins about 2 inches off the floor. Okay? Then we're going to keep our knees bent. We're going to press our torso back towards our bent knees. And from here, we're going to straighten our legs. And breathe. And know that your arms should be framing your ears so that your gaze is in about the middle of your mat. And just bend your knees, pedal them up and down, maybe waggle your hips a little bit. Any organic movement, that feels good. And then take a moment of stillness. Then we're going to look forward to our hands. We're going to step our right leg forward and our left leg forward. I'm going to bring all the equipment with me, and we're going to come to standing. So, here we are on our feet, finally, and we are going to build our Tadasana from the ground up. Okay, so let's lift all 10 toes and lay them all down. See if you can lay them down one at a time. If they all go down in a clump, it doesn't matter. Our hips are over our knees are over our ankles. And we're going to draw the shoulders up and around, and our palms face forward. And take a breath here. And let's sweep the arms up and bring them to hand, heart center, with an exhale. And inhale the arms up, and exhale. And one more time. Inhale and up, and exhale, hands to heart center. Then we're going to inhale the arms up. We're going to take our palms and we're going to have them face down. We're just going to push down in front of our body like we're pushing our hands through warm water. Let's do that one more time. Inhaling and up, and exhaling, palms come down in front of your body. Now let's inhale and up, and we're going to grasp our right wrist with our left hand. We're going to reach up, and then we're going to exhale and reach over. Nice side bend over to the left. And inhale and up. Let's clasp the other wrist and reach over. And reach up. So let's take a stand in the front of your mat. And we're going to do a little bit of a warrior flow And then we'll come back down, start to cool down a little bit, and then we'll take a Shavasana. So we're going to step our right leg back into a high lunge. Okay, now if you have to take several steps back, that's great. At this point, if you want to hang on to the back of the chair, you can do that. And see if you can come up as far as possible onto the ball of the foot. And then we're just going to raise and lower that heel. Now we're going to add our arms. So as we raise up, arms come up. We exhale, the arms come down and swing behind us, inhaling up. And exhale. And one more time, inhaling up. And exhale. Now we're going to take this back leg and we're going to swivel it so that your toes are pointing out and the pinky toe side of your foot is along the short edge of your mat. And we're going to bring the arms straight out from our shoulders and we're going to look over our front hand. Warrior two. From here we're going to straighten our front knee and we're going to bring the arms overhead. Exhale, warrior two. Inhaling up. And exhale. And one more time, inhaling up. And exhale. Back hand is going to come to the thigh. We're going to turn the front arm so our thumb faces up. And we're going to revolve our warrior, keeping the front knee bent. And reach back. And come forward to warrior two. Then let's take the front forearm, lay it on the thigh. Sweep the other arm over to frame your ear. And inhaling up. Let's pivot on the back leg. Step it forward. Take a moment. Let's come over to the other side. And we're going to step the left foot back into a high lunge. Just raise up and down on that back foot. You can have your hands on your hips if that works for you. Now we're going to add our arms. So we're going to swing the arms up and back. Letting the heel come up and down. Arms sweep back. One more time. Up and back. Now let's take a warrior two on this side. Pinky toe side of your foot is along the short edge of your mat. Arms reach out. Gaze is over to fingertips. And we're going to inhale, straighten the leg, bring the arms overhead. Exhale and open. Inhale and up. Exhale and open. One more time, inhale and up. Exhale and open. Bring the back arm to the thigh. Front arm turns, so the thumb is facing up, and we're going to revolve back. And breathe. And let's come forward, lay the forearm on this thigh. Hand reaches across the ear. Nice length. We've been working on lengthening our spine. And inhaling up. Take a warrior two. And we're going to pivot on the back leg and step forward. And give your legs a shake. And let's take a forward fold. And if you are not comfortable in a forward fold, you can take what's called a huddle pose. And huddle pose is almost like a football player. You just rest your forearms on your knees. That keeps your head above your heart. But take a forward fold or a huddle pose and relax for a moment. And then as you're ready, let's come down and take a comfortable seat. And then let's come down onto our backs. And when you get onto your backs, bend your legs so your feet are on the floor. And simply hug your knees into your chest. And give them a good squeeze. And let's rock back and forth a little bit. Maybe you draw some circles on the ceiling with your knees, going one way, going the other way. Then let's plant our feet on the floor about width of your mat. Arms are outstretched. And we're just going to let our legs relax over to the left. Gaze comes to the right. And inhale and up. And exhale to the other side. And inhale and up. And exhale. And one more time. Inhaling up. Exhaling. And then hug your knees into your chest one more time. And then find yourself a comfortable position for Shavasana. And you can do Shavasana in a couple of ways. You can lay on your back with your legs outstretched. You can lay with your knees bent. You can put something under your knees, or you can come to a seat and you can take a Shavasana in a meditative pose by sitting. So wherever you are, just drop into your breath and begin to let everything soften. Let your forehead soften. Let your eyes begin to fall into their sockets. Let your cheeks hollow. Open your mouth a little bit. And let your jaw relax. And if your tongue is stuck to the roof of your mouth, just let it release and lay behind your bottom teeth. Let your shoulders melt down towards your elbows towards your wrists. And let your palms be soft. And let your collarbones relax open. Let your belly be soft. Let your hips be heavy. Visualize the backs of your knees and let them soften. Let your feet be relaxed. If you're laying on your back, let them open up and just flop open. Let's just take a moment and relax in our Shavasana. I will be quiet for a moment or two, and then I'll bring you back. And as is usual in my class, I always read a closing poem, and I'll do that. So let's just sit in silence for a moment and absorb your practice. So begin to take some deeper breaths, inhaling deeply, and let those breaths invite some movement into your hands and your feet, perhaps wiggling your fingers, wiggling toes, rocking the head gently from side to side. And then take it a full body stretch, reaching your hands behind and pointing your toes, and hugging your knees into your chest. Give them a good squeeze. And then as you're ready, coming up to a comfortable seat so we can close out our practice. And let your hands be softly in your lap or at your heart center. And let your gaze be downcast. And I always read a poem to end my class. This is one I'm sure you're familiar with by Robert Frost. Two roads diverged in a yellow wood, and sorry I could not travel both and be one traveler long. I stood and looked down one as far as I could to where it bent in the undergrowth. Then took the other, just as fair and having perhaps the better claim, because it was grassy and wanted wear, though as far for that passing there had worn them really about the same. And both that morning equally lay in leaves no step had trodden black. Oh, I kept the first for another day. Yet knowing how way leads on to way, I doubted if I should ever come back. I shall be telling this with a sigh somewhere ages and ages hence. Two roads diverged in a wood, and I took the one less traveled by, and that has made all the difference. Thank you for being here with me. It's been my joy and my privilege and my honor. Let us raise our thumbs to our forehead for our calm thoughts, our thumbs to our lips for our kind words, our thumbs to our heart for our compassionate intentions. Namaste.